Well,
anyway, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Thanks. I had a challenge. I was being gagged by the hosts because I'm being invited to speak and the microphone is switched off, but I believe I'll be able to make a few remarks now. So anyway, by the welcome participants and those following us online. We really appreciate what the other speakers have spoken. The US Embassy, who is one of our good speakers and partners for a long time. Keg Fraternity for this opportunity for us to be part of this. And on behalf of the Media Council, I can assure that our commitment to building strong media associations and strong media fraternity is as deep as it can ever get. We hope that we will not lose the course. I will make a few remarks. Number one is that while we are discussing issues around COVID-19, we can say that COVID-19 has only exposed our soft underbelly. We have been around and we have seen clearly what happened, let's say from about the past 3 years. We've seen a lot of layoffs, drops in circulation numbers and all that. And so while COVID is the catchphrase now, the reality is that the ground has moved. We will say that in the media we are having what people would call a Kodak moment. The world is shifting. And I think that unless we move in and address certain systemic challenges that already started, we will not be able to sustain our media as it is. I think, number one, we may not have post-COVID-19, is here to stay with us. And number two, that the revolution, the Kodak moment in the media has just been accelerated by COVID, and then we have to move. We need to look critically and overhaul this media sector policy and legal framework to create an enabling environment. At the core of policy now, I think we need to look at sustainability, the financing of media enterprises. We all know that out of about 200 community radio stations, less than half of them can afford to pay salaries at the end of every month. We know that out of about 100 print publications, national and local, less than 30 of them have people on a salary. So this is something we need to move quickly from the boardrooms and try to engage other stakeholders and see how we rechannel ourselves. I'm glad Dr. Nyabogo is here. We know that the same challenge is happening at universities. Maybe we expanded too much, or maybe our model is collapsing. We need to come and look at this deeply. You remember that from 2.5 years ago, the Media Council started discussion about the Media Diversity Fund, and we know we moved around it, and it's stuck around certain venture processes, although we left a few things pending here and there about who contributes and then who accesses it. But I think that the time has come for us to build that fund with minimum external financing. We do what government can do and what the media stakeholders themselves can do, so that we come together and make sure that this takes off. Otherwise, when we start a project and sometimes we get stuck in the commas and certain words, we never get to pilot. We never get. By this time, we should be trying to experiment where what went wrong and what we need to improve. We will look at, we need to strengthen that and get bigger policy reforms, especially with the change of how we distribute our media, the online models. Now that everybody is a content creator, what we're going to do about it. We need to discuss about how complaints are done, the complaints commission, the procedures and the rules, and how then matters move fast. Because I have to warn you that if anybody has looked at the media sector critically the past, say, 3 months, the number of complaints on my desk, the number of letters from lawyers threatening editors, of course they get copied across, is very, very high. It then tells you, we have been told before, that number one, corruption strikes back, and number two, the people out there we're trying to hold to account are more organized. They have out-organized and they have outnumbered us, and sometimes they have out-pocketed us. We need to have a session very soon. We are trying to arrange with the Law Society of Kenya and the judiciary. We cannot have so many warnings, media, so many threats, so many, orders that don't make sense. Otherwise, if we let that go on, it will become a new normal and the media can't move. We need to discuss the advertising. But most critically, yes, we discuss about new models, a new policy, we need to have a very honest discussion about media audience circulation mechanism that can be a bedrock of genuine commercial media models and revenues. The quarterly reports received cannot be vouched by anyone except the one who's holding them. The circulation and distribution numbers that we receive, they're only trusted by the person saying them. Nobody else believes that. And this has been something we have refused to face head on. We're going to get to a point where everybody, you get that all Kenya's radio stations are radio number one, all TV stations are TV number one, all newspapers are newspaper number one. So only the person speaking can be believed. So how we model the measurement and how we then discuss the funding model and how to do the business models is what will drive us forward. But finally, we do all that, we must look at the people in the business, the editors and journalists and correspondents and all that, and the media owners, and really distribute the roles of each so that we do not have one or two people taking the entire chunk, but an entire ecosystem discussion, so that then we can, as we look at the policy and those areas, we can be able to move forward. I ask in conclusion that all stakeholders join us together. We move, see where we began, see what we left behind, reduce, there's sometimes too much competition about in our little associations and groups. And those of you who are Christians and have read the good book, they will remember when Jesus' disciples kept arguing on the road, who is the biggest amongst them? And nothing happens when you do that. So I will urge that people come into these discussions with genuine and open hands so that we can have a real honest discussion and move forward. Otherwise, I think that the ground is fertile. All stakeholders are ready for these discussions. We just need to be honestly come to the negotiating table and put proposals forward. And really, we must condemn people whose work is to say no to what the other person is doing and not proposing alternatives. So thanks very much, Keg, and the other team here for what we've done. Let's make sure that we build towards the upcoming convention and all will be good. Allow me now to conclude to give the apology of PS Jerome Ochieng. We spoke this morning. He's down in Kisumu. He couldn't make it because, PS William Bo and the leave couldn't make it. He's at home while doing one or two things, so he couldn't manage. And number two, just a note to our team at the Secretariat, Madam Rosalia. Our media issues fall under the Department of Broadcasting and Telecommunications, and Esther Koimet, not Jerome Ochieng. We know there's a time he was in charge, but we, just for correspondence and all that, we are under the Department of Broadcasting. All media issues in the broadest sense, all of us here from CA and all of us fall there just for information and cooperation. Asanteni sana, and I wish you all very nice discussions. We will look forward to the final report and publication that we can then push forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Omwoyo, for those remarks.